संधान ઓલ ગુજરાત ઇન્ટિગ્રેટેડ ક્લાસરૂમ
સેટેલાઇટના માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.
Good afternoon, friends. This is Dr. Himanshu Srivastav. With me in the studio we have Dr. R.K. Mandalia. We have come here to conduct a session on Wole Soyinka with special reference to the Lion and the Jewel. I'll be just briefing what exactly we are going to do today. We would be first concentrating on the life sketch of the writer, thereby his major works, and then Sir would be dealing with the Lion and the Jewel with special reference to Wole Soyinka. Slide please. These are the photographs of Wole Soyinka. Let us have a quick glance over his biography. He was born on July 13th, 1934 in Nigeria. Soyinka family practiced both Anglican Christianity and Yoruban tradition. His father's name was Samuel and he was the headmaster of Soyinka's primary school. His mother, Grace Soyinka, was a shopkeeper and a political activist. He went to St. Peter's Primary School, awarded scholarship to Government College of Ibadan at the age of 12. At 18, he went to university to pursue English degree. He received scholarship to the University of Leeds in London, where he would get his doctorate for literature. Soyinka in London is one of the major turns in his life. In 1958, he joined the Royal Court Theatre in London, where he wrote his first two plays, The Swamdwellers, on screen you can see the front photograph of it, and The Lion and the Jewel, the topic that we are going to discuss today. He studied under Professor Knight. He's a famous professor at UNL for Shakespearean critic. In 1960, he won the Rockefeller Grant in order to research traditional African literature, and this gave him a reason to return to Africa. These are some of his major works: Conge's Harvest, Death and the King's Horseman, The Road. Legacy and honors, let us have a quick glance over it. 1933, honorary PhD University. 1973-74, overseas fellow. 1983, elected an honorary fellow at the Royal Society of Literature. In 1983, Ainsfield Wolf Book Award, United States. 1986 is an important year because he received Nobel Prize for Literature. In 1993, honorary doctorate from Harvard University. 2005, an honorary doctorate degree at Princeton University. Some of the other achievements are there. Academy of Achievement Golden Plate Award. Now let us deal with the text as well as the other information regarding the writer as well as the text. The resources that we have referred is Google and Wikipedia, and rest is with Sir. Please, Sir. Sir would be discussing the topic Wole Soyinka with special reference to Lion and the Jewel. Sir, start kar do, sir.
Should I start?
Yes.
Well, my dear friends, this Nobel laureate, playwright, poet, and novelist of Nigeria in the continent of Africa occupies a significant place, we can say, in the history of world drama.
Yes.
He wrote essays, poetry, plays, and also a fiction. But he is known largely for his unique contribution to the field of drama, and by and large he is known as a dramatist. One specific thing which can be said about this playwright is that almost all his works, whether it be poetry, or fiction or even his plays, they spring from the soil of Africa. Specifically, we can say that they spring from the soil of Nigeria. This is in a sense that each of his works, it deals with some African issue, some African problem, some African debatable matter. He deals with such an issue and leaves the solution to the readers and spectators to decide, to arrive at. He is not a dramatist giving a ready-made solution at the end of his play. No, that is not the case. He leaves it to the readers to decide what could be the decision, what could be the outcome. He tackles with the situation, presents it before the audience, and leaves it to the audience to decide what could be the final solution to the problem that he discusses through his play. Today, I would like to discuss before you one such remarkable play written by Soyinka, the title of which is The Lion and the Jewel. It is a play which we can say demands interpretation at several levels. The language employed by Soyinka is no doubt simple. Characters are very few, we can say. But the meaning which he is dealing with is definitely not simple. He wants to deal with the whole continent, the matter of the whole continent, by introducing just several simple characters and speaking in simple language. The major characters that we have in this play, they are Lakunal, who is a school teacher working in a primary school of a small village named Illuginal in Nigeria. The other character, female character, is Sidi, a young girl, a teenager, we can say, a native of that small village Illuginal. Let me clarify one thing is that Lakunal is not a native of that village. He comes from the west. He has settled there in that village to perform the role of a reformer, and he is working there as a primary school teacher of Illuginal. Two more characters which demand a special mention, they are Bail Baroka, an aged man who is the head of the village, what we call in our own terms a Mukhia, a Sarpanch, we can say. He is the head of the village, Bail Baroka, and his wife, the lead wife, the major wife, the head wife, Sadiko. It deals with African tribal life. Except Lakunal, all the characters are the tribals of Illuginal. Lakunal is an outsider who has come to Illuginal, settled down there to play the role of a teacher, to bring, we can say, a kind of awareness, a kind of new awareness among the people of Illuginal, and he is a primary school teacher. But the rest of the characters and the people of Illuginal, by and large, they are the tribals living in Illuginal. When the play is divided into 3 acts, but the acts are not given the numbers just like Act 1 or Act 2 or Act 3. The play has been divided by Soyinka into 3 parts, 3 acts, but those acts are given the titles morning, noon and night, which signifies morning taking place in the life of character, noon, that is crisis taking place in the life of the character, and then the nightfall taking place in the life of the character, the central character. And that central character is definitely that teenager girl Sidi, who is the native of the same village. When the play begins, we find Lakunal as a school teacher, primary school teacher. He is teaching his students, his pupils. It is a class of arithmetics, and the table recitation is going on. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, 3 plus 3 is equal to 6, so on and so forth. But he leaves this table half the way when he watches something through the window of that classroom. Sidi, that young girl, that teenager, she is coming back after fetching a pot of water which she has placed on her head. And the moment Lakunal watches her through the window of that classroom, she is coming, and he leaves that class and goes out to talk to Sidi. Since she is coming back after fetching that pot of water placed on her head, he would like to talk to her, and that's why he leaves that class and approaches Sidi. And in simple sentence he asks, Sidi, what did you decide? Have you come to any decision or not? The very question asked by Lakunal makes one thing clear, that before the actual opening of the play, some conversation has already taken place between the two. In fact, Lakunal is a man who believes in one principle, and that principle is what is known in our English idiom, charity begins at home. If you have come for a kind of reformation, it is essential that first of all you should apply that reformation to your own self, and then only you can apply it to others. He has proposed marriage to this teenager, to this girl Sidi, though she is a tribal and he and a man whom we can call literate, whom we can call educated. He would like to first apply the theory of reformation first to himself before he teaches the villagers how they can reform themselves. He would like to prove that he himself is a man believing in the ideology of reformation, and for the same reason he has proposed marriage to Sidi. But Sidi is a seasoned tribal girl who has her own sense of self-respect, who has her own sense of pride, we can say, who has her own sense of self-esteem, we can say. She asks a counter question to Lakunal, and the question is, what did you decide about my bride price? Now here, the very question asked by Sidi makes one thing clear, that Sidi is a 100% tribal girl believing in the ideology and all the traditional values of African tribal society, Nigerian tribal society. She would like to have her bride price first, what we call Kanya Vikray. In certain tribes, when the occasion of marriage is there, when marriage is decided, bridegroom's parents have to pay some price, some money to the parents of the bride. That is, you can say, dowry in reverse. She demands that bride price because she attaches her own self-esteem, her own self-respect with the very idea of this bride price. That is, she mentions that if I accept you without demanding bride price, without accepting money from you, people would think that, tribals would think that, people means people of illusional, those tribals would think that I am a girl, very cheap, I don't have my own value, and that's why I am ready to accept you
Yes.
without my bride price. She attaches her own self-respect, the idea of her own self-respect, with that traditional, we can say, custom of bride price. Lakunal is not willing to pay that bride price because he loves Siddhi. And if that love is genuine, if that love is pure, then there should not be any transaction of money or gold in that marriage. He tries to convince her, Siddhi, I can buy bread from market, I can buy butter from market, I can buy any other commodity from market, but I don't accept you as a commodity. How can I pay bride price? Because I pay bride price in order to marry you, then it will be as good as my buying you, and I don't want to buy you. He would like to marry her without giving bride price, and she would like to accept him only if
He pays bride price.
he is ready to pay the bride price. Here we find Lakunal as a representative of reformed ideology, reformed society,
society.
new civilization, we can say.